everyone, welcome back to my craft room. My name is Whitney Lucas with Crafty Thoughts Whatnots, and today we're going to do a patriotic theme wreath. We're going to get some goodies put together. We got some really cute ribbon here, and we're going to just make a really awesome wreath for the upcoming 4th of July holiday. This will obviously apply for any patriotic themed item, whether it be for Flag Day, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, any day in general, or in my opinion, 365 days a year should be more than enough reason to have something patriotic hanging in your house. Some of these things I've seen people make are just absolutely gorgeous, and I would leave them up year round. So I wanted to make a primarily white themed wreath, and then we're going to add just a tiny bit of color into it, and we'll see how it turns out. I'm a little excited. First I wanted to show you guys what I made for my Patreon group for Ribbon of the Month for June. I have 2 ribbons of the month for this month, and basically what I did for this one was our first patriotic themed one here, and this is the goodie that I just made for them. The video will come out to them fairly shortly. Before you guys get this one, I just finished filming this one, so this one's recorded and set to go. But I made this one and showed everybody the steps on how I did it, how I got everything put together, how everything's connected. So if you wanted to see something like this, these particular ribbons were featured and with enough time for them to purchase them prior to my video. Join my Patreon group. The $5 a month pledge reward is being part of the Ribbon of the Month videos. So for June I'm doing 2, and hopefully I will continue to do 2 per month until, you know, popularity just blows up. So consider joining me on Patreon if you wanted to see at least those 2 guys per month. That's the $5 reward. Check out the other reward levels. There's great things at different stages, and then also just any type of support that you send my way is greatly appreciated, and it helps me continue to buy the supplies to make these wonderful things happen for you guys. So with that said, let's get down to the craft table. I'll show you all the supplies we're going to use in today's project. Alrighty guys, here's our supplies. So, everything's going to be on, as you can see right here off to the side. This is an 18-inch grapevine wreath. Normally $5 anywhere you go. This was, yeah, $4.99. I got this at Hobby Lobby. You can get them anywhere. You can buy them online. You can buy them Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, anywhere. So, 18-inch grapevine wreath. This is usually the size I work on. I don't usually buy bigger than 18-inch. But we can get this thing looking pretty grand with, as you can see, everything I have here. My main 2 pieces of ribbon was this inspiration here was the 4-inch ribbon. Now I've never used a 4-inch ribbon, but I have a really good idea on how I'm going to place this in here. So usually my norm is 2.5-inch ribbon, maybe 2 kinds, and then I will add a 1.5-inch ribbon to it, maybe 2 kinds, usually 1. So what I'm going to do is flip the script, and I'm going to use a 4-inch ribbon because I absolutely love this particular patriotic guy going on here, and then I'm going to add a 2.5-inch ribbon as my smaller ribbon. Now this is a 50-yard roll I got online many moons ago, but I love it. It's got a burlap center which matches the which matches the burlap stripes and stars here in this particular ribbon, and then I've got some red and white border on this guy, which will look great with our white flowers and greenery. So this is going to be my 2 accents of ribbon and color in the entire wreath. Now my other idea is that I'm going to solely go with nothing but white flowers. I have greenery, a couple greenery. I've got this long guy here. Now all these flowers are from Hobby Lobby except for the hydrangea. These were old purchases from Michael's, but Michael's carries these hydrangea year round. You can get hydrangea anywhere, honestly. I like the fullness of these individual stems that you can get at Michael's. I've zip tied mine together, which is why they look like they're in a bundle, but they're not, trust me. It's just individual stems at Michael's. I have 4 of them here. I'm going to use all 4 on this wreath. I've got this accented bush here that's got really cute little green and white berries in it. I like the length that it gave off at Hobby Lobby, so I purchased that. This little greenery bush here is just going to add exactly that, greenery. I like how the ends had a little bit of the light green in it, so that's going to go down as coverage and filler. And then from there, with the hydrangea, I've got this little guy from Hobby Lobby. I don't know what they are, but it's the bright white one. This comes in many colors at Hobby Lobby. It comes in red, 2 colors of blue, pink, lavender, and then there's 2 whites. There's a creamy colored white, and then there's this bright white. And this is the bright linen white one that I'm going to put in here with all these white flowers. And I'm going to do texture. Now, even though the flowers are all the same color, they're the same bright, stark linen white, they're all a little different. So they all have a little bit of texture, and they're all going to work for each other. And that's what I'm going to try to go for. So we'll see what it looks like in the end. This guy I liked because, you know, these are kind of the the felty, foamy, papery type leaves that are in here, but I really liked the little daisies on here. Now this is also Hobby Lobby. This one was a little bit more expensive of a bush. This was regularly 20 bucks, and I got it when all their florals were 50% off, so I paid $10 for it. And we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to add the right kind of, you know, this reminds me of something that you would go out into a field and pick. It's just very pretty, and I like the wispy part of it. It's beautiful. So that was a must-have, and I couldn't pass it up. So we're going to definitely incorporate these in. And then lastly, I have this little mixed variegated bush here. Oh, you know, I'm sorry, guys. This is from Michael's as well. So Michael's is this sunflower bush and these hydrangea. So I'm not sure how much of this I will use. I don't know if I'm going to use the sunflowers on it, or if I'm just going to use some of these little ranunculus, or maybe more of the daisies. I don't know what I'm going to use out of this bush, but this was just a multi bush I had on hand. So with the hydrangea and the multis, I had the multi bush. I've had these on hand. The rest were Hobby Lobby. So these 4 guys were Hobby Lobby, and these 2 guys were Michael's. But we'll see how much. We might not need this or not. Just go with the color and stick with it. If you want to do like a one solid color wreath, you'll have to have something in there to try to break it up. So with all this bright white, my idea was to put this natural linen color and then mainly make the focus of this wreath the stars and stripes right here. Now lastly, I couldn't pass up at Hobby Lobby was these cute little blueberries. I don't know what they are. They almost look like raspberries to me, guys, but they're like this dark navy blue. They don't look purple. They look blue to me. So I grabbed these. And they also were not cheap. These were $10 a bush. So with 50% off, I got them $5 each. So I paid $10 for 2. And I'll see if I can incorporate them in there and if I like them, and then we'll see how it goes. But I thought with the bright whiteness of these hydrangea, those little berries look really pretty in there. Also, again, with the patriotic ribbon, I thought these little blueberries would look absolutely cute. So what I'll do, guys, also forgot, I'm going to do a little bit different of a system. I'm not going to put the ribbon in first, but I am going to put the ribbon placement in with pipe cleaners, because what I'm going to do is make ribbon go throughout this wreath. So you're going to need pipe cleaners, and then of course glue gun, glue skillet if you have it, scissors, if you have any kind of craft pliers, and then of course wire cutters. What else? Any of that other good stuff. I think that's about it. Scissors, wire cutters, glue gun. You'll be set to go. So let me get this cleared off, and then we'll get started placing some of these pipe cleaners in the wreath, and then we'll get the greenery in. Okay, so what we're going to do first is I cut all of my hydrangea off to the first little mark in their stems, and then of course save all of your leaves. I save the stems as well because I've used them in other projects. So I've cut all my hydrangea, and what I'm going to do is, because our ribbon is a little bit thicker, and the idea that I want to pull off is sort of like a continued type of bow effect, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hydrangea in first. And I normally don't do that, you guys. I normally put my greenery in first, but this is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to do is I'm taking my pliers, I'm kind of bending the stem a little bit to one side. And I'm going to put these 4, I guess I already did that one. I'm going to put these 4 hydrangea into 2 groupings. I'm going to kind of do on the left top, going towards the top left corner of this wreath, I'm going to put the 2 groupings kind of close to each other. And then my idea is to put a major bow in the middle of them, and then also do sort of a kind of like a ribbony, tail-y sort of effect. Let me take a peek here. How far down do I need? This needs to be moved down. I know I wanted them left corner, but let me see if I have to move this one even further down. So I'm kind of just scooping them towards each other, these little pieces that I bent here. I'll put these kind of like, yeah, bent that one a little bit too much. There we go. Put those kind of, and don't be afraid to get those as close as possible. So I think that's kind of the effect I'm going for here. So this is sort of the top of our wreath. That's sort of the top. The bow is going to go here. I'm going to connect here and here. So what I need to do is I'm going to glue my hydrangea in for sure. That way I know I've got my placement of where I want them to go, and they're pretty much solid in where they're going to stay. So I'm going to glue them in first. So I'm just going to get a decent amount of glue on the bottoms of those stems that I cut. And then I'm just going to place them right back in the wreath where I have them. That way I know they're in their homes and they're not moving. Okay. Try not to get a lot of glue on, there we go, just on the stem, not the flowers. There we go. So that's in its new home, it's not going anywhere. And then let me get these two in. And then, see, normally I would do my greenery first, you guys. This isn't kind of a normal thing for me to put the flowers in first, but I think the reason why I'm not going to do greenery is because the placement of the flowers is really important for this large of a ribbon. Ribbon's a 4-inch wide ribbon, so I really need to make sure that I get certain things placed into certain areas. I don't want to end up having sort of any kind of issue with that ribbon. Because once you've glued this stuff in, it's going to be a little difficult to get it back out. It can make or break, in my opinion. Because, I mean, once this is hot glued in, you got to do a lot more work just to kind of pull everything back out. And some of the stuff might be damaged. I've done it before, you know, guys. I've ripped apart projects because I've just absolutely not been in love with them. So I get a little dust off. So here's basically the top of, I want that the top, no, I want this. This is the top of our wreath right here. So this is how you're going to look at the wreath. There's the top, there's your right and your left. So I'll set this back in front of me here this way. And I'm going to kind of place these pipe cleaners into the wreath where I'm pretty sure I'm going to be placing my bows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of curl it with my fingers and create like a little hook effect here so that I can hook it around the grapevine, get it around a good amount of the actual vines in there, the solid ones, and then I'll pull that through that way with my pliers. And I'm just going to pull it real tight and then just put a twist in it, maybe 2 twists. And then I'm going to leave them there, because that's how we are going to attach our ribbons. And I'm going to do that here in the middle, and then also on each side of the hydrangea here as well. Because I'm going to put my main bow here, and then I'm going to have a little bit of ribbon come here. There'll be a bow here, a bow here. Relatively speaking, a bow. It's going to be sort of more like a little grouping of ribbon. I mean, I guess you could call it a bow, but it's not going to be so much as an actual full-on, you know, fluffy bow that we would make by hand and then put it in here. It should be just one continuous piece off of the spool that we won't have to worry about too much. So putting that curl in here real quick. And that one I didn't really need my pliers for. It's pretty awesome. Okay, so guys, now I'm going to do my greenery, because I know I've got my bow placement where I'm going to want to keep it. So the greenery, I can kind of get the effect, because also the greenery is supposed to be a behind the scenes type thing. It's not going to be our main event, so majority of it will and will probably be covered. So I'm going to start off with these longer stems here, and just see how they look in the wreath. I really love this little bush when I saw it. It's not exactly little. I just love the lime green part of the leaves, and then the little styrofoam berries are a cute little addition. Okay, let me leave that on there, and let's see how this goes. So this whole thing is wired, so I should be able to kind of put a little bend in them and curve them along with the wreath. So it kind of looks like they've grown along with the grapevine itself. Yeah, see, that's going to be absolutely perfect for what we're going for. And then remember, our ribbon is going to be here, but not all of this is going to be meant to be shown. So some things are going to get covered up, and that's part of the layering effect you want for a really full wreath. It looks really pretty, and it adds dimension. It adds it grabs your eye. You don't want every little tiny piece. perfectly spaced out, and everything's going to look, you know, it'll look a little bit too, it can look too staged, you know. Half the time, you know, when you make a wreath, we don't want anything looking too staged. We want things to sort of look like they grew that way. I mean, yes, we are using artificial flowers, and yes, that's, you know, part of the appeal of using artificial flowers, because they won't die, but you still want things to look a little natural, unless you're going for a completely crazy out of bounds idea. And that's also, it's also a pretty thing too. It's not necessarily, you know, crazy. This one I want to go for a very natural look, and then we're going to add in our patriotism. We're going to get that patriotic vibe going right in there. So do I want this above the flower like that? I'm going to add that right in here. Let me get this placement on this third one here. I get that one to go a little bit under the hydrangea. I'm going to curl it into the middle of the wreath a little bit. It's kind of pretty like that. And we have the other white flowers as accents, and we'll use that to fill in on a lot of different spaces. Okay, so let me get this guy glued in. And I'm just putting the these couple in first because I don't want to fill it up too much. And then there's also bringing a couple pieces forward might make it look just a little bit more finished. So I'm just going to place a couple of them, you know, into the major spots I want, and then after that I'm going to leave some extras on the stem, and we can always grab those at a later point and put those in. I think I'm going to add this one right here in between these flowers. We'll just kind of get it to stick out into the wreath like that. I like that. Now the next greenery bush, I'm going to fill in more. Not necessarily too much, but some of the bigger gaps. And then this is also a thicker greenery that, again, these are all Hobby Lobby. These two green bushes are from Hobby Lobby. It's got some good wire in here. This is a plasticky type of greenery bush. And then, of course, this was on sale also with all the rest of their flowers. So I just kind of ran with it. And I like how the little ends of it have like a brighter limeish green, leafy green to it. I think it's gonna be perfect for what we want. And then I'm also probably going to turn a couple of these into their own little smaller picks, and then add them in as accents around it once we get our ribbon in, which I'm probably going to do next before I add any more flowers. I want to get that ribbon in and then get those things kind of situated where I think they're going to mainly end, you know, where their final placement's going to be, if that made any sense, you guys. Sometimes I get to start talking, and then I'm talking while I'm making, and my mind is actually still creating, and the sentences aren't really making sense. It's part of the beauty of it, right, guys? Okay, I'm just testing out the greenery, guys. Sorry, the spot's a little bit blank there. Oh, that one came off. Where'd that come off of? So these are when you get these little oopsies that come off. I just kind of put them in the tip of the glue gun, and then I glue them right back on, and then that way I know they're not going to get pulled back off again. At least that one won't get pulled off again. Can't really guarantee the other ones, because that's just part of the magic, right? That's just part of the magic. Yeah, let's have that guy go down into the middle. All right, guys, so I got the base part of the greenery of what I want placed in here. Get that there. So here is what we have so far. I have one more piece here, but I also have more on the bush. I'm going to cut this one probably into pieces and use that one as smaller accents around the bow on different areas. So what I need to do here is this is what we have so far. I know it doesn't really look like much. It's kind of like a little bit of a hodgepodge mess of pretty, a little of this, a little of that. But trust me, we're going to be filling this in, and we've got much more flowers to put in here. But I want to put my ribbon in first, and then we'll fill around it. Because it's also helpful to do this as well as in your planning. It's helpful for your planning because you can actually, I've got my main flowers in here. I'm going to accent with a few bows. This will be a bigger bow. This will be like maybe a 1 loop. This will be 3 or 4 loops, 1 loop. But what I'm going to do is use the bows. Placement is already in place. We can, that didn't make any sense today, guys. We put the bows in place, and then we can use our other flowers and our other greenery to kind of support those bows in the certain areas so we're not squishing anything any one way. And then I also need to put these cute little guys in there too. So let me get the ribbon out and clear off a few little things, and we'll be right back, and I'll start adding the ribbon in. Okay guys, now ribbon time. What I did was I've already unraveled my bow, or my spools, and I've dovetailed the 2 ends on the ribbon we're going to use here. It's just a habit. I don't know why I dovetailed to begin with. Whatever we get done on the other side, I'm going to have to dovetail that too, but for some reason I just always dovetail the ends when I'm starting. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to place our first long, I'm almost going to call it like a banner type ribbon style. I'm going to place this into the wreath first with the 3 pipe cleaners that we already have in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a length and kind of gather it and see if that's a little bit too long for what I need for the tail that we're going to leave here on the bow. And I think that's actually a really good length for that. So that's just taking it, pinching it, and then placing it into your project and seeing, do you like the length of that? That's looking really good to me. So I'm going to take that, leave that there. You could put just a cute little tiny preliminary twist in there that just holds it in place. Okay. And then now here's where we're going to kind of drape things around. And all I'm doing is taking another piece and I'm dragging it over to our next pipe cleaner. Geez, words, guys. And then I'm going to kind of bring it down to make it a little bit tighter. And it's going to cover the flowers. Again, we don't want every single little piece to show. But the ribbon, obviously this is a patriotic wreath, is supposed to be our main event. So I'm going to just place that there as our first little loop. And then I'm going to bring this one over on this side. This is almost basically sort of like making a mesh wreath. Yeah, you're bringing your ribbons over to different portions of it. And then here's where we have our second little piece we would cut off, and then I'm going to take a peek at it right here. Let's see how I'm liking it. This guy needs to be bent down a little bit since it's interfering there. And that's the best part about everything being wired. You have the creative freedom to move it the way you want it to go. So I'm trying to see, do I like this or do I want it to have a couple more breaks? Like, do I want it to come up here instead or come up here? This is part of the placement of where you put your pipe cleaners. If I need to add more pipe cleaners, I can just go ahead and feed them through there, but I'm wondering if I need to do that. So let me just take a peek here, guys, and see if I like what's happening. one's a little bit too big. I think what I'll do here is, I'm leaving this way. I'm going to leave this one this way as well. Make a bow here, just basically a 2-loop or a 1-loop bow here on the end. So let me experiment, guys. You can come along for the ride. I've never used 4-inch ribbon. I've always wanted to, and I like how it appears almost like it's like a table runner for a wreath. It's very wide and thick, and I love this is the American flag, so it's actually very perfect for the season. And I'm really loving how wide these bow loops turn out to be. It's so pretty. Okay, so I made a little makeshift bow. Remember, guys, none of this is permanent, so if I don't like it, I will just change it, and then you guys will never know, because I won't actually put it in the video. So let's see. Put a loop there and a loop there. Just kind of playing with it. I'll cut that there maybe. Put some flowers here. And then let me test this out, guys. I might end up changing a few things, but let's just see what happens first. I'm making just a very small 2-loop bow with this. I'm going to add it right into the center of this guy. This is all testing, guys. I don't know if I'm going to keep it this way or if I'm going to move it, because I don't know if I'm happy with the way those pieces are covering up the hydrangea. So let's just take a peek and see how we can maneuver this guy around here. It's all test. Let's take a peek and just move some stuff around. Hold on one sec, guys. I'm just not happy with the way that's looking at the top. Put that one there and that there. Yeah, that's looking better. It's almost like bunting, the kind that you see on front porches and such. That's what it almost looks like, bunting to me. So I'm going to put this one up here. I need to add another one, so that's what's making me happy. Okay, so I'm going to add another pipe cleaner right up here to the top. I'm just looping this in the grapevine up here. And I'll show you guys once I get this secured in there. That little loop I made, I'm leaving that way, and I should be able to just take the slack back in on that side. That's going to work out perfect for what I was looking for. So this little grouping that I made, 2 loops off of the same piece. Remember, twist everything because this is all one-sided ribbon. Okay, so I'm going to grab this same bundle that I had, and I'm going to place it in a pipe cleaner that I just placed on the opposite side of these 2 hydrangea here. Pull that pipe cleaner as tight as you possibly can. Okay, That makes me happy, just like that. And then we'll bring this guy around in front here, gather it. Yeah, that's making me happy here. And there'll be a lot of ribbon fluffing and adjusting for this, so no worries about any of that. So we'll put the bow there. And what I'll do is kind of adjust this way, undo this one. If I can put some, yeah, I like that much better. I can put some flowers here to prop that up, definitely, and make that a little shorter. So you guys, I'm taking the extra slack that was across here, and what I've done is I'm taking that slack, I'm putting it down over on this side. Just so that it's not trying to be so perfect. I like it to be a little asymmetrical. I want it to be imperfect. I like things to look a little different, a little odd. Definitely think I'm happier with this. So I got an extra little bow right here. And then we're going to make a separate bow here. So I'm going to make a 2-loop here. And then this is going to have to be cut a little bit shorter. I could have adjusted this way, but I don't know that I really want to. So maybe I do a 1-loop here. I don't think I want to add this to no, I don't. So what I'll do is I'm going to make a little 1-loop guy. Well, let me cut this one the way I made it. Remember, guys, I made a 2-loop bow. Now, see, this is not this is double-sided, so I really don't need to twist. I think it's just out of habit that I do, and it feels unnatural not to, so I kind of just always do it. But if you're having issues with ribbon or bows, remember, I make bows, you guys. I will make them and I will sell them to you. I can put them in my Etsy shop. So you guys let me know if you guys just want some bows made. Sometimes bows are the hardest part of the project. So it's just gathering and twisting. But there's been times where my bows have just not agreed with me and I've had issues like I'm having right now. So let's take this and start over. So I'm pinching this here. I'm going to grab this. Bring it up and pinch it. Got to twist it as though I have to. Bring that back over to here. There we go. Now it's agreeing with me. Put that guy right there, or should I put it, just finish it off and put it here? Yeah, let's put one on both sides. So here's my 2-loop bow here, it's a little accent bow. I'm just going to add it to the pipe cleaner that's already here, that's holding in the stars and stripes. So we will come back to this to fluff it, obviously, and then it will actually be doing more with the bows and with the adjusting and those types of things as we add our rest of our flowers in. So with this 4-inch ribbon bow, with a 4-inch ribbon, I wanted to make sure I got things, you know, where I wanted them and needed them first. So we're going to leave the pipe cleaner sticking up until we're ready to twirl that in on itself. And then what I'm going to do here is probably, let's add, I'm going to do a 1-loop here right in this middle and then another 1-loop here. So what I'll do is I'm going to, actually that's backwards, this way. I'm going to dovetail the one end of the ribbon, and then I'll show you exactly what I mean by 1-loop. So I'm going to take my ribbon, and that's about as long as I want the tail to be. So I'm just going to take the tail the way I would want it and guesstimate, which is a best guess estimate, and then make my loop. Is that loop the good size? Put it on your project. Looks wonderful. Okay. So what I'll do is where I've gathered it, I'm going to cut it off really close to where you're holding it at. And that's how we're going to add that 1-loop bow into the project. Now, because this one's a little bit more delicate as far as placement and it's secure, I'm going to put its own little piece of pipe cleaner around it, because this piece could easily get pulled out if it's tugged on a little bit too hard. So I'm just going to cut a pipe cleaner in half in order to use it just on its own side. And then I'll show you guys here. Wrap it around the portion. Remember, make sure you have enough slack on this side so this piece doesn't get pulled out. And then twist it 500,000 times on the back. Just make sure it gets really tight. I like to hold with my thumbs pretty tight so it'll twist going downwards. And then you've got a really good, secure, tight twist on that guy right there. I'm going to twist it the rest of the way. And then I'm going to wrap it around on itself. So that guy is definitely not going anywhere. And then I'm going to place this little guy that we just made into the pipe cleaner over here that's holding down the last little piece of the flag. So I'm going to kind of unravel that. Put that guy right down there in the middle. And then twist it back into itself. So they're now together, they're one piece. And what I'll do here is I'm going to go ahead and finish off and kind of push those two together. I'm going to pull this up that way, and then I'm gonna dovetail off. I'm gonna cut this like probably about right here and finish off this long one. Not at the right angle. This 4-inch ribbon is gorgeous. I'm just saying. I love it. It might not be showing up too well on camera, but you know, stay tuned. Into my videos always have the pictures at the end with the studio lights. So the blue might show up better, but this is still a very bright blue, even if it may seem you know, a little bit like a farmhouse country with the burlap and stuff. This is still a very bright, pretty blue. So now I've got one loop here, 2 loops here, and now I need to do my big bow here in the middle. I'm just trying to see if I need to cut this one now or if I should wait. Thinking I might actually just leave it, or I gotta pull that guy back out and move him over. I'm gonna leave it for now because I don't want to cut it off too much. So if you guys want to see, here's our 1 loop accent on this side and the 2 loop accent on this side. Of course, you guys, nothing is done, but that's just our progress thus far. So what I want to do now is I want to try. I'll prop that up a little bit over there, and I'm going to get the larger part of my bow for the middle here made. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to dovetail this because I'm going to make this portion of the bow without a tail because I want the tails to come from here. So I'm just going to actually start gathering here at the very end, because remember, just like that 1 loop here, we're going to leave enough slack so that we're holding a large enough piece here that it won't come undone. Okay, and then make my first loop. Let's see if that's a little bit, it's kind of a little bit too big. That's looking good. Okay, so now that I've got my loop size, I you know, compare it to the project, I'm going to go ahead and do another loop. And I'm going to do a 3rd loop. I'm going to make it a little bit off center, and then we're going to add another 2 loop of that guy. And this guy, you know, with this red ribbon on, or the red plaid on here, that's where we're gonna have the tails coming down on that in the middle. So that will add more to it. But this particular one, I got a tail on each end, and it kind of looks, like I said before, like it reminds me of the bunting you see on porches and tables and, you know, different events and baseball games, those types of things. I like the bunting that you see. So it kind of is like a really, almost like a garland. Yeah, we could say that too. It's like an American flag garland. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm trying to see if 3 is enough. Now I'm gonna have to make it 4 just to four loops. It's not really supporting itself with 3, and I don't want to have to put too many flowers behind it. If you know what I mean, I don't want to put too many flowers behind it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to twist it the opposite way. So I want these on this side. I want, let's see, which way is it twisted here? Gathered in. I want the stars and stripes to be on. Well, let's see. It's not exactly even the way it is right now. So this 4-inch ribbon's a little bit more cumbersome. This is a little bit more, but I know for a fact our end product is going to look amazing. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to try. It seems to kind of get a little difficult. Of course, because it's still connected to the spool. That might be where some of the issue is coming from. But let's just... I don't know that I'm liking this, guys. It looks a little sloppy. Let's see what happens. I'm just testing it out in here, seeing if I like it, if I can adjust it and fluff it around the way I want it to look. So let's take a peek. And then if I like it, I'll cut it out. I mean, I'll cut it and end it off of the spool. This is one of those things where you're definitely going to have to fluff it year after year. It's going to get smushed. It's going to get kind of somewhat, well, I guess you could say it's going to get ruined from your original design. That's kind of normal. And then I'll put the big guy here in the middle. Or should I put 1 and 2? I think I'll put 2 separate bows, top and bottom. That's what I'll do. So it's not too bad here. I'm going to put a couple flowers in the middle or something to accent the middle in here, because you guys know I can't not put stuff in my bows. I almost like the way it wrinkles. I like the way it wrinkles, actually. It's kind of going, it's going like for the right type of, yeah. I can't really finish that sentence because I'm really liking it. Hold on, guys. Okay, so I gotta put something here to keep this ribbon there. But yeah, I'm okay with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off right here. Remember, always leave stuff long enough so that you have enough leeway on the project. So I'm going to add those other bows much closer to the wreath. So I'm going to finish this one off in the middle. I got a lot of slack on both sides, and then I'm just really going to twist this thing onto itself. So I'm going to go ahead and twist up the whole thing to the middle. Here, and then I'm going to twist this around onto itself into the grapevine. We'll see if I can grab it from the other side. I can see my pliers through here, guys. That's the reason why I'm kind of got my face down in there. Alright, and then twisted it into itself. So this bow is not going anywhere. It's super secure. Yep, I'm tugging on it now. It's not going anywhere. Okay, that's what we have so far. Okay guys, what I'm going to do, to speed up the process a little bit, I'm going to make 2 more bows. Possibly a 1 loop down here and a 2 loop for up here. And then I'll finish off the centers of these because I'm not going to add any more ribbon to them. And then I'll be back with you guys as soon as I'm done with those bows. So I'll speed up the video so you can watch it. And then we'll add in our little berry accents and then some more of the other white flowers. And then we should be done. Of course, if we need to fill in with any greenery, I'll do that too. So one sec, guys. Enjoy the little speed run, but we'll be adding some ribbon and I'll be right back with you. Guys, so ribbons are done and I think it looks awesome. So what I'm going to do next is we're going to fill in all, well, the bows obviously because I put greenery and flowers, and then we're going to add in all of our other little white flowers as filler. We're going to get this thing really fluffed up and looking good because right now it's got a lot of empty spots and holes. I just wanted to get like the little viney parts in here, and then we'll add these little cute blue type berry things. I don't know what they are, guys. I think they're supposed to be raspberries, but they look navy blue to me. So anyways, I'm just going to start cutting stuff up and adding things in. We have a lot of different holes that we need to fill. This ribbon has a lot of open loops in it, so we've got a lot of space to fill things in. So you don't have to worry about, you know, if you have all these gaps and the bows look a little, you know, crumpled or crumpled and wrinkly. I really like that about the 4-inch ribbon, but I'm loving every second of this. So let's just start cutting up some of these white flowers and getting things added in. And then also the leaves that I saved from the hydrangea, we're going to probably incorporate some of those in here and there. I don't know if I want to actually break up the flowers per se by tucking a leaf in or not like that. I mean, I kind of like it a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what we need and how, you know, how we need to add it and stuff. So we're going to be gluing a lot of stuff into our ribbon. And then that's also going to help us with keeping placement on your ribbon staying where you really want it to go. If you start gluing stuff into it, then you won't have the problem of the bows separating and, you know, things coming out and showing where you don't want them to. So I'm going to get started and just start cutting up some stuff. And I decided I am going to use this bush of variegated white flowers from Michael's. I thought I wasn't going to use the white sunflowers, but I mean, as I place them in here, they really do look really springy and just very nice. And again, this looks like something you would see at a fair somewhere where they're having a great event. I mean, I just absolutely love how it looks with all these other flowers. So as I place them in, if I'm falling in love with their placement, I'm going to glue them in. And that's what you should do too. If you find something and you place it in there and it just absolutely speaks to you, glue it in, because that's where it's meant to be. And I think I just put that one in the wrong spot. Hold on. There we go. A little bit further down that way. Put that there. And I'm looking for other little pieces to kind of just tuck into the loops that I'm seeing in the bows. Things that are going to help in accent, you know, in the proper place. So if you need something to prop something up, you need it to be a bit thicker, you need it to be a bit more sturdy, then obviously you're not going to use the smaller flower, you're going to want to use the bigger flowers. So here I just put in those two white flowers here, and it's already added to the little grouping of bow loops that I have right over here on this side. So that would be my suggestion. Just take what you think would look right and then just start placing things in. Just go with it. See what happens. There's no right or wrong way to do anything, you guys. It's just all personal preference and how things look and appeal to you and your style, and that's really all you can hope for, and that's really all you can do. Yeah. And I'm loving that. And see, I've already covered up the majority of the empty space in the middle of this bow. Here. So I put that guy in, and I put it in above the bow, and then I bent it down over the center of the bow. So that one is pretty much taken care of. I could put something right down in here too. Let's see, is there something small I can place in there? You could also just tuck some greenery in there too, guys. You always never forget that you can just take green leaves, and let's see if we can tuck that in, and that looks good right there. Yeah, it sure does. So what I did was I just pulled this, and see this little piece, this plastic piece here, off of the stem. Now, you're going to need a little bit of help because things are going to get hot and you don't want to burn your hands. So, this is just a piece of the stem. I broke off a little plastic piece of something. I use it a lot. So I'm going to dip the actual end of this plastic piece that would normally be on the stem into my glue, and I'm going to nestle it right down in there into the center of this loop of this bow right here, just to fill in the empty hole that you can see from the front and the sides. So I'm twisting up the leaves as much as I can, so I'm only getting glue on the plastic part, dipping that in there. Sometimes your glue skillet's going to be really hot, and it could start to just absolutely melt the plastic, so just watch for that. You can also test it out, and then just make sure that you get right in there. And then I'm putting that in there. I got a little bit of glue strings, no problem. And I just tuck that right down in there like that, and it looks so cute. Here, let me see if I can get a good angle for you guys to see into this guy here. It's right in, maybe you won't be able to see it. It's right inside here, which you can't really tell too much from the angle I have you guys at, and I can't really show you this way. It's right inside there. So, I mean, if you're looking at the wreath from, you know, it's up on a door and you're looking at this way, I can see up into it. I can see, oops, I can't even show. I can see up into it this way on the door. So it just adds a little bit. So pick your wreath up, take a peek at it, look at it different directions. See if what's happening is making you happy. I think what I'm going to do is place this sunflower leaf right there. Yes. You see how you guys, this changes everything? This bow, I figured, okay, look, it's done. I'm kind of finished with it. But I'm going to stick this sunflower leaf right here in the middle. I'm probably going to cut that little piece off. But look, I think that just adds a little bit of extra to it, and it just makes me so happy. So that's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to cut the larger piece of this plastic end off of it. And this was part of this sunflower here. I only left the one on the stem. So I'm taking the other leaf off, and I'm going to actually glue it down into the center of my bow. It's so cute. It's going into the center of the burlap and or the brown canvas and the red and white checkered border bow. And then you can make sure all your pieces are touching. And this is what I meant by these particular pieces are going to hold your bow together. So even if it gets crushed and wrinkled and, you know, rumpled around in storage until the next time you want to pull it out, you're gluing things into it, and it's going to help remember where everything is, or at least where you wanted everything placed. Okay, so next off is, I got this one done a little bit. What I want to do is I'm going to add some of these long wispy white flowers I got, kind of coming down here off of the end. Now see, this wreath is kind of a little bit more time consuming than your average wreath. I didn't necessarily plan it that way, but then again, I don't ever really plan any of my projects to take as long as they do. That's just sometimes what happens in the process. So I'm going to try to separate that one out. See, that one came out really easy. So I just kind of pulled forward and then pulled up, and then it came out from the bush pretty much how I wanted it to. So I'm going to try to curve this one a little bit that way. That's not curving the way I want it to. This one would probably be better on this side. Nope, I got it right there. Just turn it around the opposite way. So I'll place this under this sunflower here. Trying to get that a little bit higher up. You can see that it's kind of unraveling, so what I'm going to do is make a clean cut there, and then I'm going to take my floral tape and I'm going to wrap it around the paper part because it's unraveling, and that's going to cause problems. So floral tape is just a papery kind of tape that you have to tug on to activate the sticky on it, and you can just wrap it around the ends of stems like that. And it's a little sticky, and sometimes I'll wrap more, but that's just to prevent it from fraying while I'm trying to place it in the wreath, because we're going to actually douse it in glue as well once I get it where I want it to go. Yeah, that looks great. That looks great. Okay. I'm loving every second of this, you guys. It's turning out just so awesome. I mean, I thought it was going to be a little bit boring just because I was only using, you know, small parts of, I mean, not small parts, but just one solid color of flower. But with all the different, you know, variations that are going on here, it's looking so good. Okay, so let's pull this guy out. It's going to come out. There we go. And then from here, I think I can pull another one out. Yeah. So from this one, I pulled another one, but these two came apart. So from that, again, more floral tape. Keep those two together. Make a clean cut here with my wire cutters. These are my old ones. I shouldn't be doing that. And then I want to add just one more set of flowers. These little white flowers. Just one more flower just sticking out right like that. See, this is the part I cut off. It's not wired, so it's not going to bend to my will. I'm going to have to tell it where I want it to go. Oh, got something in my glue, guys. Hold on one sec. There we go. There we go. I wanted one more white daisy kind of popping out down there, so I'm good with that. I'm happy with that set. Now these guys can always be added in as extras. So here's the one pick I've already pulled off from the larger bush that we've already placed in here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off right in between all of them. So I've turned one pick into two, and with this one I'm going to take the piece where I cut it off at, and I'm going to kind of just curl it straight down on itself with my pliers, almost like jewelry making where you make those little eye holes or an eye hook looking type of thing. You're just going to take your piece and just curl it down around on itself. So you're making like a little circle like that, if you can see. That's all I've done with the wires. So now these pieces will not come off. And then this one already had its particular top on it, so you don't have to do that. And so now from one piece I've made two separate picks, and they're a little bit smaller, and they're perfect for, you know, placement for what we're looking for in all these extra little tiny holes. Like if I want to just add another one right here, but I don't want it to be too bulky, which I don't want it there. I think I want it right over here. Let's see if I can put that right in here. Where's this? Maybe I need a smaller one. This one's a little bit smaller. Yeah, that's perfect right there. So I used the smaller one just because the other one was really, it was too full. It was too big, and I'll use that in another spot, possibly at the top where the big bow is. Get that up a little bit. There we go. Get that guy to kind of come out here. Say hi. There we go. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the way this side looks here with this bow and the way everything's going over here. So I think I'm done on that side, and I'm going to move on to the middle, or the top bow you could say. And let's see if this will help kind of fluff this up in here in the middle. There's a little something here in the middle, or the middle bottom. That's what I'm looking. That's not what I'm looking for. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, so let's get some more flowers pulled out. This is a little difficult, you guys. I normally put my wreaths on a stand, but I just can't record a video properly with, you know, you wouldn't have any good viewing if I did that, because it's just, there's no way to get my camera to record that wide of a shot. So I'm gonna work on it upside down, which is weird. I'll just have to keep moving it around and get placements and stuff like that, so it's okay. Let me get this bigger flower here, because I needed something to prop things up over here. This is going to do a little bit of double duty. It's really pretty. It's just I don't want to technically hide it, but I really don't have a choice unless there's something else that's kind of smaller that could take its place. I'm not absolutely sure just yet. I might place that guy right there. I really like that guy. This is a really big, pretty white sunflower. I don't want it to be hidden. I'm going to place that right there. I'll probably forget, and I'll need to remember to glue that in. So let's see what we got. And I don't really want to cover too much of this up, so I think I'm going to grab a ranunculus here, some daisies, and leave the stems a little bit longer on them. I'm going to try to place them sort of into the wreath and the bow so that you can sort of kind of still see them. Okay, that one looks really good right there, so I'm going to glue that in. Yeah, those daisies look really cute right there. So that's their new home. This one I don't necessarily want to cover too much. Sorry guys, I got to turn this around because this one's not going to, be our nice little normal average one here in the middle, only because I need to have things going at a certain angle. Shorter. If I put this in at the top, it's completely going to not be seen. So what I need to put on the back of the bow there is stuff that's just filler that is inexpensive and it won't be seen and it won't make an impact on the actual bow. So, or the wreath. Because you will, I mean, you're not going to see it at all. I'm not liking any of this stuff. Let's see, what does this do? Does this add what I want to it? Yeah, but not in that spot. I don't really want it right there. Okay guys, I'm just going to work on this middle piece here. So, just like the other two, I'm just going to organize them, move them around, find placements that make me happy, and then glue them in. So, I'll probably just speed up this part of the video since there won't be much talking. It's just going to be a lot of like concentration, you know, all that good stuff. Leave me some comments down below. Let me know how you think it looks, how you think it's going, you know. Just feel free to say and just mention and suggest and all that good stuff, because that's basically the best way and that's how we learn from each other. So just go for it, guys. Let me know in the comments, everybody else. Let's make this comment community an awesome one. So go for it. And in the meantime, I will be poking in these flowers. Okay guys, here's what we got. My only concern here is that this top bow is just too squished, and there's really nothing I can do about it now. I can't pull any of it out. I'm just going to have to live with it and see what everybody else's opinion is. Sometimes there's just those things that don't work out for you, and then everybody, you know, there's someone out there that will appreciate it and like it no matter what, even if there's something you don't like about it, which in this case, something about this piece here in the middle is not making me happy. The rest of it I absolutely love. I love the ribbons here. I love these two end pieces with the sunflowers and all the extra little goodies, but something about that middle bow is just not making me happy. So what I need to do now is lastly see how we can incorporate these berries. I might not do it though, so let's take a peek and see what we have here. Now these guys are kind of bundled together even with more wire. I'm going to take those apart. And then what we have here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little things of these berries here. So let me just kind of tuck one in, see what it looks like. Oh yeah, I love it. So yeah, we're going to do it. It looks really cute. It adds just that extra little bit, and yeah, can't help it. So I think it's because it's right next to the white. It really pops next to the white hydrangea, and it absolutely makes me happy. So let me find placement over here for it. Yeah, that's absolutely where I'm going to put it. And then after this, I'm done, you guys. So let me put these berries in, let them stick out in some places. I don't know if I need to use both bundles. I'm probably just going to use the one. So let's go through here and kind of add this last little bit of an accent. Let's see where it takes us. This grapevine is just not being forgiving to me today. It's kind of causing a lot of issues. Yes, it's just so cute. The way the berries stick out, just I can't help it. I love it. So just finding the place where I need to place it so I can get it back in there after I get glue on it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do these groupings next to the white hydrangea because it really pops. It's kind of like a muted blue, almost navy-ish, and I'm assuming it's supposed to be purple, but the way that they pop, look at that. Let me see here and right here. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love those berries added there. So that's the last little bit we're going to add to this wreath. And then we're done. So you guys got the edited version, and I'm sure you know this isn't exactly a short video. This one took a while for me. I'm still debating on a few things and a few choices I made on the wreath, but all in all, I think it's gorgeous. I think it's going to be one of the ones that I admire for a while on my wall. Well, at least until it sells. So yeah, like I said before, everything is for sale, guys. Everything is for sale. So this will eventually also be in my Etsy shop. I know a lot of times you guys don't see them right when the videos are out because it takes me a minute to get everything. It's a long process, guys. It's just a long process. But again, this is one of my favorites. Where did the wreath go? Yeah, I just can't help but put these berries in. I knew when I saw them they would be expensive at Hobby Lobby because they were in that little extra area where it's like, oh, don't go in there. Even though, I mean, it's a good thing they were half off, I can put it that way, because if they weren't half off, I don't think I would have went and got, I mean, if they weren't half off, they wouldn't be in the wreath. Let's just put it that way. Oh no, it's not missing. That's just how the bush is. Okay, good. Just making sure. Just making sure. So one bundle had 5 pieces in it, and to me that's going to be a good enough accent. These ones are a little bit smaller than the other couple little picks that came out of that one bush. So I might end up just placing these two together, maybe a little off center from each other. But let's see how I can get that kind of incorporated right there. And I love that. I got to pop here 1, 2, 3, and then like a little bit of 4, 5. Let's get this guy kind of situated in the middle of this flower here. I'm putting it through the hydrangea, so there's a little bit of maneuvering through all the petals and then just getting it into the right spot in the grapevine. Yeah, that works. That works good right there. So let me get that out. Glue it up. It's like almost like playing Operation. You guys ever tell me if you know that board game? I played it when I was little. The old Operation used to scare you across the living room when you would touch the little zapper. It's like, please don't let the hot glue touch my hand. That's what this is almost like. After you get the hot glue on it, it's like, oh yeah, it's almost like playing Operation. Yeah, these little berries add the perfect little just last touch to it. Almost on, borderline too busy, but in a great way, in my opinion. So let me get that guy in there. Nope, that's not where I wanted him. Come on, dude. There we go. So like I said, this wreath is bordering on being a little bit too much in one, but I can't help it. These berries actually set it off perfectly. So, all right, guys, I'm going to clear off my table, and then I will be right back, and I'll show you guys the finished product up against the wall. All right, guys, what do you think? She is beautiful, isn't she? I'd almost forgotten that I had it to be set at a diagonal. So this bow isn't the top center. I wanted it to be sort of off to the left, and this bundle of hydrangea was going to be basically where the top of the wreath is. So sometimes just changing the angles made me love it more, honestly, and I'm not too upset about this wrinkliness going on here in the middle. Sometimes it bothers people, sometimes it doesn't. I'm one of the ones that it's kind of on the fence for me. This guy here in the middle is just a little bit too, like, there's just something that's not right about it. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Tell me if you think maybe something else should have been done. There's really nothing I can do at this point to change it. Just, learn from it and move forward. But I really love this wreath. It's still a very gorgeous piece. I love the little berries. Do you see these little berries? They add just something to it that's just making me absolutely happy. It's almost like it's fresh summer fruity, like, I don't know, it's like sitting outside on the picnic table eating fruit with some iced tea. It's just really like a fun time sitting outside or something. I don't know, it's what certain things make you think of, and this wreath brings me to that type of happiness, I guess. So you guys let me know, and I'll keep saying let me know in the comments, but it is what it is. So that's it for this guy. It was kind of a little bit challenging. Took a while for me to make, but it's absolutely gorgeous. That's it, you guys. Also, again, back to the Patreon thing. I got to plug myself shamelessly. If you liked everything you saw today, you learned anything, you enjoyed watching, consider supporting me on Patreon. There's a link in my description on YouTube as well as on Facebook in the About sections, and then also in the description of this video as well as Instagram. If you have a situation where you're not able to pledge or donate, don't worry about it. The Patreon people, my patrons that are already there, already know that they get the added benefit on top of the reward tiers, that they get to continue helping me inspire people. So YouTube videos are going to continue to come out no matter what. If you decide to join my Patreon club or group page, you get just a little bit more extra that I can give to you. That's about it. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate everybody out there, all my YouTube subscribers, Instagram followers, Facebook followers, you name it. I love all of you guys, and it makes me very happy that you guys are just continually supporting me and like what I'm giving you. So let me know how it goes. Contact me, give me ideas. You guys can always message my Facebook page and Instagram. If you're one of my patrons, obviously message me through Patreon, because I'll get to you guys in a different fashion. Other than that, you guys have a great time. I'm going to Texas in a couple days, so this video on YouTube will be out before I go to Texas, and then when I get back, I should have some great ideas for you. I'm going to a Wreath Makers Live convention, so it'll be very, very fun and very informative, and I'll come back with even more wonderful things to show you guys. So that's it for now. Take care, And of course, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.